2-year-old baby girl, 2 months-old baby boy, contact for adoption. These are some of the many adoption messages found floating on social media about children who have been left orphaned as the second wave of COVID 19 ravaged India. Thousands of children lost one or both parents to the dreaded disease, leaving them vulnerable. However, child rights activists say these messages about adopting kids, even if shared with good intentions, are problematic.
When we put out private details of children who have turned orphan and who have turned vulnerable because of that, we open up those children to the possibility of being trafficked. Traffickers are always on the lookout for vulnerability, and that is what they exploit. Turning orphan is one of the most significant vulnerability a child can experience, and that is what the sharing of private details makes the children susceptible to.
Any organization or any individual is coming up with this kind of messages, they are doing a wrong, illegal thing. It's a kind of a trafficking which is taking place, and the person who is taking a child for adoption without coming through the CARA and through CWC and CARA is being a part of an illegal racket. So, and the one second thing is also whether these children, under what circumstances are these children being given? Is there any money being charged for adoption?
The future of children who have lost their parents to COVID 19 has become a matter of concern and has triggered a debate on adoption rules. While these heart wrenching details are difficult to ignore, the government has urged the general public to refrain from adopting or helping in adoption of orphaned children without following the due process.
If I have to prepare a report, instead of me visiting you physically, I am contacting you electronically. That's the only thing which has changed. So far, because of the pandemic, law and the legal procedures have not changed. So anybody who is wanting to adopt a child, the legal way is that you come forward, you go on the website, Carings portal, and you upload all the required documents and let the authority know that you are interested. On the second hand, the same portal also collates details of children who are adoptable.
Significantly, if you share information about any orphan child, it can land you in a legal trouble. Here are some do's and don'ts if you come across any adoption messages on social media. Refrain from sharing the details or pics of the child. Call and pass on the information to Child Helpline number 1098. Call the police if you suspect the child is at risk. And do not believe anyone who says he or she can give you a child for direct adoption. It must be also remembered that adoption is not the only means to help a vulnerable child.
Apart from adoption, we have several other options. And these options are guardianship, sponsorship, foster care. Foster care includes various kind of foster care. One is family foster care, one is group foster care. Then we also have an option called residential care, where children can be kept into government or NGO run childcare institutions for short time or for longer durations.
Losing both the parents is a devastating experience for the child and makes him or her extremely vulnerable. According to Bachpan Bachao Andolan, a child rights organization, it has received 5,000 distress calls in the last 2 weeks. Out of the total number of calls, almost 25% calls were about children losing their parents, while 15% were inquiries about adoption. Activists say the government has fallen short in effective management of this sensitive issue.
With increasing number of deaths, and the indications were right from the first or second week of April that the numbers are growing, and they suddenly accelerated from second or third week of April, but the indications were in advance. Therefore, the government needed to be much more proactive. The Central Adoption Resource Authority, which is a central nodal body for adoption, is yet to mount the kind of campaign that is needed to educate people on the rules about adoption, encouraging people to adopt, so on and so forth. So those are some of the instances that that point out that the government has fallen short and needed to do much more, right from preventing children from being trafficked, or awareing and educating people on the correct process of adoption, and three, encouraging people to register more and more for adopt, and four, streamline the, I'm not saying liberalize, but I'm saying streamline the entire adoption process to make it slightly quicker and easier.
The central government last week directed states and UTs to strengthen the facilities for children who have been orphaned during the pandemic. However, a lot more needs to be done. As responsible citizens, we too should always act in accordance with the law while trying to help kids who have lost their parents. A TOI online report.